So sorry, you're going to have to excuse my homebrew wonky ear glasses, but about 24 hours ago, I looked up at an upside down man from a table, and he put a mask over my nose and mouth, and he asked me to take 15 deep, slow breaths. And next thing I know, I woke up with a plastic cup over my ear. It's done. I have a thing in my head. I'm Vince Werner, and I just wanted to give a brief day after first impression update about my implant surgery. And again, a reminder, everyone is different and every case is different, but if you're like me, you like to compare notes and see what others' experiences were. So in that spirit, first off, I feel pretty good today. No vertigo, just the slightest post-op nausea, and the volume and content of my tinnitus is pretty much the same as before. Maybe not higher, but nothing particularly bothersome. It's been bad for a while, so I've kind of had to learn to ignore it. The funny thing about tinnitus is that it gets really loud when you consciously think about it, so let's talk about something else. Okay, it went down like this. I showed up at the surgery center, stripped down and got gowned up and signed a few forms. I was asked my birthday so many times by so many different people that I'm going to feel a little hurt if I don't get at least a couple of cards showing up on my mailbox in a few months. But anyway, then Nurse Nina got an IV line inserted, and she gave me some preemptive Tylenol. And then my wife and I chatted while I took some deep breaths. And I'm just about to be brought back into surgery when Nina came back in to tell me that some delay had occurred and my 11:10 surgery would be pushed back an hour. Oh, well, like I told her, I set aside the entire day for this, so, no schedule conflicts on my end. Anyway, fast forward to waking up. It was like coming out of a dream, and I felt my legs entangled in the sheets, and I was a little agitated. Not fear or anything, but it took a second to remember where I was. I knew I was no longer in the ER, and I definitely had pain on the left side of my head and inside my ear a bit as well. Not horrible pain. But when I woke back up from a neck surgery that I'd had a few years ago, I just remember gently opening my eyes and feeling good. But then I remembered how the start of my procedure had been delayed, and now I was like 3 hours deep into that pre-op Tylenol that I was supposed to have right before they wheeled me in. They gave me some Oxycontin and an astronaut squeeze bag of applesauce, water, and graham crackers, and in that moment, I couldn't have been happier. My wife helped me get dressed, they wheeled me to the car, and she got me home to bed. I was a little wobbly, I think mostly from anesthesia, but I felt generally pretty stable. After catching up with an episode of Survivor with closed captions and the volume way too loud for my ever-patient wife, I got myself propped up with multiple pillows, removed the plastic cup and the outer gauze with her help, and took a second oxy and tried to go to sleep. I have to say, last night before bedtime, the pain was more than I expected. My threshold isn't particularly high anyway, but it wasn't like the other things I've had done where you could find a better position or something to just get relief. It just hurt no matter what. That second oxy helped, and I took some Tylenol at about 5 o'clock this morning, and I did manage to get some good restful sleep in between. The pain is way down today. I may try an ice pack after I'm done recording this, but really I'm pretty comfortable right now with just a couple Tylenol from a few hours ago. The top of my ear is numb. However, I only notice this if I touch the top of my ear to see if it's numb. So, don't do that. I think I've read that it'll come back, but I don't really care one way or the other. Chewing hurts a little bit in the upper jaw and some of those muscles in my temple, but it isn't bad or unexpected. I have no facial paralysis or numbness or other things that I've read about. No nausea or vertigo at all today. I'll let you know if any of that changes. But overall, I think it's going really well. There's only one thing I think I need that my wife so far has refused to help me with. I want her to take a Sharpie pen and write on my forehead in reverse lettering so I can see it in the mirror, "Be patient." The deafness in my implanted ear has left me worse off hearing-wise than I was when I woke up yesterday morning before surgery. So, of course, now I have doubts about retaining any residual hearing, which is kind of dumb at this point. I mean, I literally had surgery about 24 hours ago, yet still I allow the intrusive thoughts in about how maybe I've just made a huge mistake. But I don't think so. Now I'm just kind of getting excited for getting activated and moving forward. But if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go look for that Sharpie pen and makeup mirror, and you can check it out on my next update. Thanks for listening.